Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys. Hold on, just 1 second. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Hi, you guys. Minister Jen coming to you. I apologize for the tardiness. So I had to get myself together. Uh, on today on my what I'm presenting, and I had two things. I had one thing I was going to present, and today, um, I was going to present something, but I felt like I wanted to present this first, and maybe on Sunday I'll present what I wanted to present to bring aware to you. So how you doing? So Minister Jen coming to you. Um, as you know, it is June. Again, it's June. June Awareness Month, which is it has different what we were recognizing. We did men health, it, men mental illness awareness, which it falls this month. We have what did we say? Last week was Juneteenth, which tomorrow is Juneteenth, y'all. So I hope you guys are doing something. I may do something with the girls. Hopefully it won't rain, and some other things that I came forth to you guys. But tonight, this is close to my heart, like the blood in my veins. Tonight, I'm recognizing National Caribbean American Heritage Month. Again, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. It is National Caribbean American Heritage Month. That's what falls in June. And I'm giving you a little bit of history of um, the Caribbean islands and what came forth into the United States. So this Heritage Month, Caribbean Heritage Month brings forth so it can recognize the contributions of Caribbean people and their descendants to the United States, because it wasn't just Africans that were enslaved that the white man brought here um, back in back in the day. It was also Caribbean people. And again, I know if you guys have heard me and Bishop, we all and Minister Kylie, we discussed because I said I think I mentioned Louisiana. It's just all like the different southern states, where slaves were owned or whatnot. If you haven't recognized, like really, when you listen to especially South Carolina, who and my best friend families from there, and some of their families sound Caribbean. So sometimes I understand what they're saying, and sometimes that accent be so strong I don't know. Because even with my family on my daddy's side, oh man, sometimes I have to have them repeat it again, especially my auntie, which we call Tanti, and sometimes I have to ask like, what you say again, especially if we have cousins or someone from back home, which we call back home, wherever island they come from. If they come up to visit, and I had to, sometimes I'm like, what did you say? And even I have aunts and I have an aunt and uncles and cousins that live in England, and of course, a lot have migrated to the British, because some of the British, Queen Elizabeth, she owns some of those Caribbean islands. So um, the British people some have an accent as well. But back to the history of it a little bit to recognize Caribbean Heritage Month. It was first recognized. Okay, first let me go back. Back. In 2004, Miss Claire A. Nelson wanted June to be the official month to be recognized for Caribbean heritage. So she wanted the Caribbean people to be recognized in the United States. Then in 2005, y'all, the House passed a bill. And you know who signed the proclamation for June to be National Caribbean American Heritage Month? George W. Bush. In 2006, he signed for this month to be so we can recognize the people of the Carib people and the West Indian people that live here in America to be recognized in our culture. 90% of the Caribbean people came from the countries Cuba. Who knew? So, hold on, y'all. Cuba falls under the Caribbean island. I didn't know that. And my family on both sides, my whole entire family is from the Caribbean. Not, I mean, of course, people that were born here in the United States, my cousins or whatnot, or so on. But I did not know Cuba was a West Indian island, a Caribbean island, and the Dominican Republic. So I'm gonna come back to later on. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna surprise y'all again with the island Cuba. Also, so it's Cuba. 90% of Caribbean people came from the countries Cuba, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, of course, because every time some American person people will hear an accent, they always say, "You're from Jamaica." Or when I was growing up, it's always, "Oh, your mom and dad from Jamaica?" No, they're not speaking English. They're speaking perfect English. It's just that you're not accustomed to their accents. They have an accent. Everyone has an accent. If you're even from the United States, people have a southern, what they call a southern drawl. People from Louisiana, Creole because it's French. Texas is considered still the South. They have a southern accent. So, and I'm not sure what, as far as the West Coast, they had. I don't know. West Coast doesn't really have an accent, I don't think. But even when you're from up north, like New York, and further upstate, they have an accent. Like what's that? Connecticut or Boston. They have an accent. So again, Caribbean people have their own. They have their own accent, and so it's Jamaica, it's Haiti, Trinidad and Tobago. I have some family from there too. I've yet to go there. I want to go there. But I have, and also Caribbean American Heritage Month was established to create the knowledge and the contribution of Caribbean people here that live here and even that live elsewhere. Made this they made it this month in June to recognize the communities that has shaped the United States and has shaped the US history for here. Um, since from the earliest days, probably in the 1800s or so on. Our nation's first Treasury Secretary was himself as a migrate, which was migrate from the colony, and he was migrated from the colony, which was Saint Nevis, because you heard of Saint Croix and Nevis, so it's Saint is like it's where I was reading it. I was like, huh, but I always name it all in one, Saint Croix and Nevis. But our first Treasury Secretary, I forgot his name, was Andrew Hamilton, Anthony. No, not Anthony Hamilton. Ooh, he was a singer. Sorry, y'all. Ah, Andrew Hamilton. He was the first Treasury Secretary for the U.S. and he was from the island Nevis. Okay, and have some more. And so they were asking, what would the American that's from the Caribbean or from or well American that was American, but their family is Caribbean, from the Caribbean. So I read this. I'm considered a Caribbean American because of my ancestry, and which is traced back to the West Indies. So I'm what you called a Caribbean American. And I know I always used to get teased and stuff from my cousins and stuff. And like, they're, a lot of people from the Caribbean, they be like, "Oh, you're Yankee, you're Yankee." And Yankee is American from here, and you're so Americanized. But my daddy will always tell me, my daddy always tell me, "Jenny, You got that Vinci blood running through your veins. So I'm a Caribbean American, a Caribbean American. But hearsay, but they love me. My family love me, but they like to tease me sometimes too. But also, um, Afro Caribbeans, which we call Afro Caribbeans, Latin Americans, Indo Caribbean, European. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm naming the different nationalities for Caribbean people that live here in United States. Um, um, Afro Caribbean, Latin American, Indo Caribbean, European, Chinese, Jewish, Arab, Meridian, Javanese. I have to look that one up because it might have something to do with Japanese. And then there's one was called Hmong, which is spelled Hmong, and other multiracial that are from the Caribbean. They are 32 Caribbean countries. 32 Caribbean countries. I'm not going to name all of them, but I counted them. But there's some of them are, of course, Barbados, Bahamas, Puerto Rico. Didn't know that because Puerto Rico is considered now United States, right? But and it's a Spanish state, so I don't know. But anywho, it's an island, so it's considered a part of the Caribbean. We have St. Croix and Nevis, like I mentioned before. We have, did I say Barbados, Bermuda, Aruba, and my family island, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which they call it, and the Caribbean people call it the Teeny Island. And you have Trinidad and Tobago, but Trinidad and Tobago are two parts of the Caribbean islands, because that's how St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because St. Vincent is the island itself. Then the Grenadines are the teeny island that we have Union Island, Martinique, it's a few more, but they're the little islands or whatnot. And then you can sail there if you go visit there. And also we have, I'm forgetting one, St. Croix and Nevis, Aruba, Antigua, Haiti. It's a lot, y'all. But I know my son, but I know even I don't even, because I'm a Caribbean American, even though I never assume it's Jamaica. I never, and I always hear my mom growing up, always was like, my mother would say, "Where you're from?" You always ask that. You don't just assume someone's from Jamaica. It's not saying you're insulting Jamaica itself, but again, Americans always assume that you're from Jamaica when they hear accent. And of course, because of the famous Bob Marley and some other artists and famous people. And so also, I read also, which country has the most Caribbean people? You want to? I can name two. Of course, you'll know it's New York, New York City. It's New York City. It's one, but first is Florida, because it's closer to the Caribbean, Miami, and they said Dade County is one of the most highest communities in Florida. I've been to Miami one time, and when I flew down, because when I went on a cruise with some friends of mine, and when we were in the shuttle, it reminded me when I was a little girl, when I was visiting St. Vincent with my dad and my little brother, and you could smell the ocean. Like, it reminded me of St. Vincent. So hopefully I can go again, but Miami is close. I get it why people migrated there, Florida. In New York City, no, I don't know, but that's where my grandma migrated to, which was Brooklyn, and it's a huge community of Caribbean people in New York City, in Queens and Bronx and or whatnot. But I was mainly raised or stayed in Brooklyn, like so many people from everywhere and from in New York City. And also other states, they say Georgia, Maryland. Maryland has one of the highest too. Washington, the state of Washington. Oh no, excuse me, not state of Washington. I can't read my own handwriting. Washington D.C. They said Washington D.C. because I know some areas like Hyattsville, but that's Maryland. But those that Tacoma Park and before the regentrification, it used to be because I remember my dad. We used to go up Columbia Road and get like different. We used to go to the market and get like goat meat and hens and stuff like that to cook. And so Columbia Road had a lot of Caribbean people. And then we have Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Texas, and California. I get it with California, but those last three I wouldn't get so much, but I always probably knew about because I've been there. Was Texas and not Texas, excuse me, Florida and New York. And some of the food, oh, Caribbean food is so good, y'all. I mean, it's so good, but only food I'm not too fond of anymore because I had too much of it growing up. Because I even almost turned into a vegan because of it. It's curry chicken. I don't know why, but my go-to meal, Caribbean meal, is curry goat, rice and peas, and you have your cabbage, and you have your fried plantain. That is the ultimate my Caribbean meal. Like if you, yes, and the red snapper, the fish, Caribbean fish is the red snapper or the escovitch fish. And my dad, oh, he used to stuff the red snapper with. He makes some crab meat, put the crab meat and the shrimp in there. Oh, it's so good. And then you have the one that everyone really doesn't know about is the ackee and saltfish. And that's kind of, to me, I grew up on that too. We'll usually have that like on Sundays sometimes, and then we'll have like it's called a bake. It's like a hard dough bread. My mom makes the best bakes, and it's like a hard dough bread, and you'll eat that, and then you'll have your fried plantain with it. But Caribbean food, I know Southern food is good, y'all, and other foods are, but Caribbean food is just so seasoned and flavorful. Like, just I'm a foodie. I love food, but um, you have to try it. Don't knock it like, ooh, I don't like plantain. Ooh, I don't like this. No, be open minded on any food, food from any culture. Be open minded because I'm still tasting things like next. I want to start. I want to try Indian food. Me and my best friend went to a Nigerian restaurant a few months ago, and I fell in love like with the pounded yam or whatnot. And some cultures are similar to your foods or whatnot, and every Caribbean island cooks differently. Because I know with Jamaicans they eat like the fish head, and I'm not eating no fish head, and Africans do too. They eat the whole fish. But here's that I talk about food all day. But also it says, what is the biggest island in the Caribbean? You want to guess? Because when I said earlier, I said I was going to come back to it. It's Cuba. Can you believe that? Cuba. Again, I didn't even know Cuba was a Caribbean country. So Cuba is the biggest island in the Caribbean, followed by the Dominican Republic. So I'm like, hold on, they speak Spanish. Like I never here or there. Maybe I need to research more about that. But Caribbean Cubans and Dominicans are considered both Caribbean, well, considered West Indian and Latino. Didn't know that. So that's why I said I had something for y'all later about Cuba. Didn't know that. And I'm almost finished, y'all. I'm gonna keep y'all all night. And Caribbeans are generally considered to be part of North America. So when I read that, how is that? Because because the islands are right in between North America and South America. Because I know St. Vincent is like right on top of South America. But if that orange man find out that it's in between, or we are part, the Caribbean islands are part of North America, I hope he, I don't know, here or there, but that's another subject. The orange man, because he likes to do things because he has power. But also it says white people, well, white Caribbean people are considered, well, they're called European Caribbean. That's a little tongue twister. European Caribbean, because of their ancestors migrated from Europe. So, because I know, because of course you see, I'm not sure if anyone ever seen a Caucasian, someone from Africa or South Africa, and they're white. And so I never knew that if white people are from a West Indian island, they're considered European Caribbean. And it makes me wonder now, because my great grandfather's from Ireland. He migrated to St. Vincent, and that's my granddaddy's father. He's from Ireland, so would he be considered, or would my mom consider European Caribbean too? Slash, but who knows? But it's weird, but I always wanted to find that out too, because I have some family from Ireland, and come to find out, I found out a few years ago, even on my dad's side, because they're from St. Vincent and the Grenadines too. They have some Irish people from in our family, so, and that probably comes with my maiden name with Patrick. So, and it's a lot, but I always wanted to go to ancestry.com to find out my ancestors, what this and that. But again, my surprise tonight was the Cubans and the Puerto Ricans and the Dominican Republics. They're considered West Indian. I thought it was Latin. They're from Latin America, like they're considered Spanish, Latinos, or Hispanics. But no, or Afro, what's they call Afro Hispanic or something like that. But no disrespect. But I wanted to come forth to you to recognize National Caribbean Heritage Month. And this is Minister Jen coming to you tonight to have you recognize us, us Caribbean people and us Caribbean American as myself. So I love you guys, and enjoy the rest of your week, and go out there and enjoy tomorrow on Juneteenth. And Minister Gentry signing off. How you doing? Love y'all. You was good.